Hey, you guys. So, here in the midst of this blizzard that we have now with this northeastern. So, just wanted to get back to you on some of the questions. I wanted to answer a couple questions that you had in response to yesterday's uh, message or reel, and wanted to tell you basically the top three steps that I take and tell my athletes, and I take myself in taming my emotions when they come to the surface. So yesterday we talked about that you have to become the observer of your emotions. And many of you had the same aha experience that I had with, I'm walking with the dog, by the way, just so you know, that's why I'm like coming up and down. The same aha experience I had when I read this from Eckhart Tolle, that the best way to separate the two cells that creates one creates the problem, the other one can solve the problem, is by one of yourself becoming the observer. And what's beautiful with the observer is the observer can be extremely objective. It can really look at all the different responses, emotions, physical responses that you have, and it can help you observe objectively so you can take control of it. The emotions that sometimes go awry, those are subjective, and that's also something that I want you to understand, that I just kind of came to this not a long time ago, that the emotions are subjective. They are created by uh, most of the time some certain responses to events, life events in our childhood, and then it got perpetuated, repeated all the time, all the way into our adulthood. So those emotions that you experience, like for example, when you experience anger, a lot of my athletes experience anger for whatever reason, either they missed a shot or they did something wrong. And when they just stand there dumbfounded, that they get angry and there's nothing they can do with that, those are all subjective responses to objective events. So the first step that I always recommend is to understand that you have another self in you, which is the observer. You can literally create space between the subjective emotion and the objective observer, and you can take at least three steps to tame those emotions. Number one is to literally just experience the emotion and really feel um, what happened, like understand that whole concept. What just happened with your emotion? What was the situation? Literally just feel it completely in your body and examine and recall what happened at that particular situation, because you'll figure it out that these responses, these emotional responses, are going to be almost all the time happening to you at the same character, the same situation, the same type of situation, maybe with different people or different circumstance, but the same type of situation. Then the second step is understanding that emotion, understanding your, if we talk about anger, because we all have so much of that, unfortunately, understanding that anger. So what was exactly happening at the time? Then you can even go back and try to recall an earlier time in your life. Maybe you're not going to be able to recall your childhood from that perspective, but if you do a nice little meditation with really quiet time, you may even be able to recall that particular type of anger, even from a childhood, when the first time that you felt it. What were the circumstances? Why did you feel it? What you need to understand that. What does that anger tell you? What does that tell you about you? So if you use the objective observer will tell you objectively that you may feel inferior. You may be a perfectionist that needs to have everything always correctly. And if you don't have it, you get upset about it. You could have people who are normally totally calm get really upset really fast. And those are the situations that you have to understand. So you have to make sure that you understand that anger. Okay. So first you have to examine it. Second, you have to understand it. And third, and this is the hardest one, you have to accept it. The sooner you accept that you have that emotion, the sooner you can um, you can overcome it. Okay, so the awareness of the emotion happens through the objective observer. Then you understand the emotion, and third, you have to accept the emotion. And that I can do a lot more lives on all each part of these steps, obviously, because it takes some time to examine these things and to overcome them. But those are the three first steps. And as far as the acceptance is one of the most important tips that I usually give about the acceptance is that you can fight or you can accept. If you fight, then you're never going to win this because this is instilled in you. You have to understand it. You have to learn to live with it. Yes, we can change ourselves to a certain extent. God knows I have changed myself. But the most important thing we can really do for ourselves as beginners is accepting that this exists in me. That's a part of me. Just like you have, some of us have a bigger nose, some of us have shorter, some of us have a bigger body, some of us have a shorter body. It, I'm not saying you were born with it, but you are really trained in that particular emotion. And the sooner you accept it, the sooner you have a chance to fix it. All right, I hope this helped. My main thing is stay to be the objective observer so you can observe your subjective emotions. All right, guys, be good. And sorry about the shakiness, but it's kind of cold out here. Bye.